America's decline in Christianity appears to be slowing down for the first time in nearly 20 years. Pew Research Center finding that 62% of Americans identified as Christian last year. That's a number that has remained stable since 2019.
Hey guys, something big is happening in America. After decades of decline, Christianity isn't just holding steady, it's actually gaining ground among young men. Why is that? Well, Father Mike Schmitz has some fascinating insights on this, and what he says about faith and purpose might change the way you see it all. This is a conversation that you definitely don't want to miss, so let's dive into it.
So this is so interesting. It appears that, the number of people who were saying they were Christian or faith-filled or religious was declining. It's now stabilized. Here's what I dug into the numbers of what I found. And we'll put up some of these, a poll right here so you can see some of it. 86% still believe in the existence of a soul, 83% in God, universal spirit. I'm fascinated by all this, especially because I think we're more faith-oriented than other countries and nations, especially in Europe. But I'm interested in the male part of this. It appears that when you dig into the numbers, it's young men that are driving that stability. In other words, their numbers are going up, which is helping to stop this this lowering of numbers. So, talk to me, because you're on campus. What's happening to young men?
Yeah, no, I think it's fascinating, and I can completely see it. I think that there's something. I think there's something that in the human heart, that in the human spirit, that longs for something more. And so when there isn't anything more offered, anything more than just, hey, here is financial success, here's worldly success, here is just success on, say, a playing field, a sports field. If nothing more is offered, then nothing more will be reached for. But I think that what I've seen more and more people, and in many ways, our culture has allowed the concept of God to once again be presented as a viable option, and not only as a viable option, but as something that actually is worth, that God himself is worth reaching for, is worth aspiring towards, and that a life of holiness is possible. And then in that context, when you get to be able to declare and proclaim Jesus Christ, I think the response of so many young men is, yes, that is the model that I want to follow. That's the kind of man I want to be.
Yeah, and so much of what's offered to them, whether it's through technology, it's just it's so non-fulfilling that I can see why they would be drawn to that, and it being sort of countercultural as well. Let's talk about Lent, because on Wednesday is the start of Lent. So what would you say to anyone who's watching our show right now who's like, you know what, this Lent, I'm going to have a more meaningful Lent. I'm going to, really use these 40 days to grow and walk closer to Jesus. What would you recommend they think about over the next couple of days before it starts on Ash Wednesday this week?
Yeah, I love that question. So I think a lot of times, Rachel, you know the term asceticism? Is that a phrase or a term? So like ascetical practices, asceticism is things we typically associate with Lent. So that's, fasting, prayer, almsgiving, those kind of things. But I was digging in deeply to the word asceticism. Asceticism comes from a Greek word, ascesis, which means training. And I was thinking, okay, wait, what if I didn't have that sense of, okay, this Lent, I'm going to be a little bit holier, maybe a little nicer. I'm going to, restrict my food or whatever the thing is. What if my mentality was this Lent, I'm going to train, like I'm training for something. And I have the difference between like working out and training. Working out is good. I'm exercising. Training is, I have a goal and I want to be able to finish a marathon. My goal is I want to do a triathlon. My goal is whatever the thing is. I think sometimes we walk into Lent without a goal, without a vision.
Right.
And the vision that the church gives us is, okay, at the end of this Lent, how can you and I look a little bit more like Christ? And so as I enter into Ash Wednesday and go throughout Lent is, okay, what's my training going to be? And it could be the sense that I really see that I'm really distracted. Like when I'm with people, I'm not really with people. Okay, so what could my training be? My training might be, okay, I'm going to get rid of some distractions. So maybe social media stuff, but also could be something like, okay, when I'm with someone, I am going to resolve to look them in the eye. I'm going to listen to them. I'm going to be where my feet are, kind of that kind of situation. Yeah. I can realize that, oh, my heart isn't actually like Jesus. Well, how does my heart become like Christ's? Well, do I spend any time with him? So this 15 minutes a day that I'm praying, isn't just because, it's good to pray, but it's because if I pray, my heart will become like his. If I spend time with him, then I'll start to look like him. So training this Lent, I think, could be a good lens to look through.
I think it's a really, really good way to look at it. It's sort of like a Jesus boot camp, if you will.
Yeah,
I like it.
That, yeah.
I like it. Well, we're on the verge of Lent.
Okay, guys. Now, before we dive into this, if you appreciate faith-based discussions, conservative commentary, make sure to like this video. It really helps get the message out, and it helps out with the YouTube algorithm. I appreciate everybody's support. Now, guys, for nearly 20 years, the number of Christians in America was dropping. But according to Pew Research, that trend has finally stabilized at 62% of Americans. Even more interesting is that it's young men who are driving this shift. I mean, why do you think that is? Could it be that modern culture has left man feeling empty? The faith is offering them something deeper. Father Mike Schmitz in this video nailed it. People, especially young men, are wired to seek purpose. When all society offers is money or status or entertainment, it's no wonder so many people feel unfulfilled. Christianity is presenting an alternative, a call to something higher, something worth striving for. Guys, do you think that this is why we're seeing young men return to the faith? Let me know down in the comments. Father Schmitz talks about asceticism, not just giving things up, but training for something greater. Instead of just going through the motions, what if we saw it as spiritual conditioning? What's one thing that you could train for? Prayer, discipline, service. Let's think about it as a boot camp for our faith. I love when, that comment she made. It made me smile. Anyway, guys, what do you think about all this? Are we seeing a real Christian revival? Or do y'all think that this is just a temporary trend? Is this real? Let me know down in the comments below what your thoughts are. And guys, if you want to help support this channel and see more content like this, consider becoming a member today. Every little bit helps us spread not only truth, but also faith. And guys, I just couldn't do it without you. Appreciate everybody. Appreciate all the support, all the love. Y'all have a great one. I'll see you later with another update.